Hello and welcome to the Match's third podcast. It's been another busy week and weekend in Preston, and we'll have all the reaction from our reporters. Coming up on this week's show, we'll have all the reaction for Sir Tom Finney Day. Also coming up, we'll take a look at Preston North End and what they got up to on their week off, and look ahead to Saturday's crunch tie with Bristol City. Their youth team's good run of form came to an end this weekend, and there was some controversy with Adam Barton. We'll have the latest on that from Treve Whitford. He'll also update us on how the women got on yesterday. Staying with football, we'll look at how Bramber Bridge got on before looking at our two local rugby teams, Preston Grasshoppers and Fylde, got on in their respective matches. But first, Preston enjoyed a day of celebrations for Mr. Preston himself, Sir Tom Finney, last Thursday. Various events were put on for the great man, and Tom Binns was there. How was it, Tom?
Yeah, it was a good day all in all. Plenty of people there to commemorate him. Lots of things going on, and a good day all around, really.
What did you get up to yourself?
We were on the lookout for the man himself all day. He was sort of in and about of the football museum and the town centre. We were there for the opening of his exhibition, which itself is in the upstairs department of the museum, and has just got lots and lots of different artefacts and different memorabilia from Tom Finney himself. Really interesting. I would encourage all fans to go and take a look, and even take your wives and girlfriends along, and they can have a good look too, and I'm sure they'll enjoy it just as much as you will.
I believe you interviewed the mayor while you were there.
We did. He was very complimentary of the Preston Plumber, as he was known. The mayor said that he was just being really good for the city, and he does a lot of charity work, which he said he was very thankful for. He was very complimentary of the man.
And, how much does Sir Tom Finney mean to Preston?
We spoke to a few fans on the day, and it's hard to sum up in a few words how much he actually does mean to the city. He's been followed throughout his career. He's given so much back to the city, and I think it's a mark of respect now that the city's gave him the freedom of the city, and he's not stuck up about it. He's still a very loyal man, and he just obviously loves the city itself, and the city loves him back.
Should this have happened earlier, the celebrations?
I think he's been well celebrated and well documented that he's one of the city's major icons for a long period of time. The fact that it's happened now, I don't think it really matters. It probably should have been commemorated before, but he has got an OBE. There's a number of things that it has been commemorated with, and so this is just the next one on the line.
Okay, thanks Tom for that. Moving on to P&E now. Treve Whitford, our P&E correspondent. They've got a new signing, Mr. Williamson. What are your thoughts on him?
Well, I thought that on the last day of the emergency loan market, I thought Irvine was really going to pull a rabbit out of the hat. But from what I understand from Watford sources, aka the website, he's made 38 appearances. He's a bit of a marshal in midfield. He's quite a solid midfielder. What will bode well for Preston as they reach the business end of the season.
So it's a big injury boost ahead of their, like you say, they're running. I mean, they desperately needed a central midfielder, didn't they?
Well, they've had Chaplow, McKenna recently, and Nicholson all injured, and they're down to the bare bones really in the squad. I mean, we know they had a youth player in on the bench the other day, so it was vital he got somebody, and he left it quite late, to be honest. But by all accounts, he seems to be happy. He's got his man now, so he can move on.
So they've had a week off now, international break. Will that do them good ahead of Bristol City on Saturday?
It may do them quite good because they can regroup and they can talk over where they've gone wrong in recent weeks. But this away form, it's just going into another away game and thinking they're going to return home empty-handed.
Do you think it's a must-win game?
Definitely a must-win game. The one team would be the Lancashire rivals Burnley, who just seem to be excelling at the moment. Cardiff, they've dropped a few points recently, but the amount of games in hand they've got, I think that Preston are one game away from missing out on the promotion.
Okay, so that was the first team. You also went to a youth team game this weekend, and they suffered their first defeat in 8 games.
They did, yeah. They didn't look as good as they have in recent weeks. They had quite a few chances, what they just couldn't put away, but Tranmere punished them with literally the only few attacks they had. Preston had a bit of a reshuffled side. They had a 15-year-old playing at the back. They had Jamie Proctor, Adam Barton, and Scott Davidson on the bench, who have been vital players for them in recent weeks. So I think Jamie Hoyland was just trying to give a number of the youngsters a chance, because he's always saying that in youth football it's about experience, not results. So he's looking to feed these players through.
And can you clear up this controversy surrounding Adam Barton? He was on the bench for the first team last week, and now he finds himself on the bench for the youth team. I mean, can you shed any light on that matter, Treve?
Well, after the game, I spoke to manager Jamie Hoyland, and he assured us that it's not the fact that Adam's not part of the youth team plans, but he said that going down to the youth team now would be like a backward step, and he just wants to he wants Adam to progress through football, and he thinks that he's going to be a vital member of at least a reserve team. So he wants to give him the experience in the men's game more than he does the youth team, because he feels that he's gone beyond the youth team now and he's on another level as such, and he wants to keep him progressing. So he was full of compliments for him, and he looks like he's going to be a vital player for the reserves this week.
So it wasn't a case of him being Charlie's big banana and coming back to the youth team and saying I'm in a first team squad now. It wasn't anything like that, no.
To be fair, he looked gutted when he didn't come on. He was constantly up and down the line warming up, chatting to fans there. You could tell he was itching to go on, but Jamie he sees it as though he's progressed well enough through the youth team, and he's trying to give the chance to other youngsters who are there now.
Okay, so looking ahead to next Saturday's game against Wigan, they'll be obviously looking to put that defeat behind them and put on a good show for you, Treve.
I think they will. I think that they had a lot of chances on the day. I mean, Ryan McGreevy up front got himself into good positions, but as most strikers have, it's just one of those days where nothing went for him. I think Jamie Proctor will return to the side, who he came on and scored on the weekend. He looks very dangerous up front with Ryan. Scott Davison again has been someone who's been scoring goals to them. He's looked very good in with Adam Barton, but I think they should be okay. I think they'll bounce back from this fine.
Thanks, Treve. Last but not least, you also went to the women's game yesterday, and they won 4-0. A comfortable win then, Treve.
The last few games they've looked very good. I mean, since I started watching them, they've looked okay, but there's been they just haven't been able to kill off teams, or they haven't been able to take their chances and they get punished. But it was a very good defensive display yesterday. I mean, it could have gone wrong in the second minute. The goalkeeper, Emma Reeder, gave away a penalty, but she saved it well. What gave them a bit of a lifeline, but this seemed to give them a boost. And Aston Villa came with a 3-5-2 system, and they just exploited it really well with Gemma Watson, Hannah Bailey and Sam Cadwallader up front. They were in behind the defence all day long, and they found so much space, and they really did punish them.
And obviously their relegation worries are a long distance behind them now, I suppose, Treve.
They're just looking up now. I mean, they're 9 points from a possible 9 recently. They still have 3 or 4 games in hand on most of the teams. I think now they're around 4th to bottom, maybe pushing up. So the relegation worries have gone. They're looking to establish themselves as a mid-table side now.
Thanks, Treve, for that P&E marathon. Staying with football, Bamber Bridge correspondent Anthony Raftery has a reaction from their 1-0 loss away at Salford City. Not the best start for new manager Tony Greenwood, Anthony.
No, especially when you consider Salford City hadn't won a home all season. Greenwood would have expected the side to go there, pick up 3 points and get his stint at the club after a good start. But it was a depleted team. He had injuries and suspensions, and that level low down. When the team's not fully strength, they struggle even against the worst sides in the league.
So it's not been the best of weeks for Bambi. 5-2 loss at home to Colwyn Bay, now 1-0 loss away. I mean, their season's pretty much over, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say Greenwood now is just assess a squad till the end of the season, see where they need improving, and next season they'll be up there for promotion, considering Greenwood's record with sides in the lower leagues.
So there's still a positive future ahead then, Anthony?
Yeah, I would say so, because when they've got a fully fit side out, they are a very good team, and they had an excellent start to the season. It's pitted away a bit, but I reckon next year under the guidance of Greenwood they would be up there promotion playoffs at least.
Thanks, Tony, and that's all our football for this week, so we'll move on to a bit of rugby. Joe Rimmer, our Preston Grasshoppers correspondent, went to watch them at home as they were comprehensively beaten 50-24 to title challengers Nuneaton. Joe, simply outclassed.
I wouldn't say that, Sam. I would say they probably played really, really well. They were, I don't think you can say unlucky, because at the end of the day they got beat by 26 points. But they did impress, and I think they pushed on to the second half, and really Nuneaton went and took over in the second half and sort of scored the tries that won the game. But they're a really good side, Nuneaton, and I think they're head and shoulders above most other teams in this league. And I think it's unfair to say that the Hoppers were simply outclassed, because they really stayed in the game for a long periods. And another good performance from Marcus Jackson at fly half. He scored a try and kicked another few points, and they played quite well. I think they can take a bit of credit out the game.
And Nuneaton, I mean, they're looking good for promotion now, aren't they?
Yeah, it really does. If they can keep up this sort of form, then they look like they're head and shoulders above everyone in that league. I mean, they had a full-back named Cook, and he sort of ran the game on Saturday. He looked really, really good. Small, quick lad, but probably the best side I've seen at Lightfoot Green so far this season. I think they look odds on for promotion.